Hello everyone and welcome back to another update video on the progress of Stellaria. I do want to mention before I start that I am very surprised by the amount of attention this game has gotten. I did not expect so many people to find this interesting. I mean, we hit over 500 subscribers within a week, which is bonkers to me. So thanks. I appreciate all the support and I hope to make this game the coolest space game imaginable. Anyway, without further ado, as you can see, there are quite a few changes to the start screen. In this video, I'm just going to showcase all the things that I've done over the past week by going to Saturn. Be warned, there are a few bugs. It's not perfect. I'm focused on getting core features done first. The orbital simulation has mostly been completed. It's very stable. Look at this sun, dude. This sun looks pretty cool. Anyway, let's get started. In this video, we are focused on one thing and one thing only. We are going to go to Saturn. Currently, I don't know why this happens, but we are on an impact trajectory with the Earth. This is suboptimal. Let's accelerate a bit. Yeah. Our orbit is now circular. As a quick little test, let's go to Luna, the moon. As you can see, there's a new label. If I click on set target, whoa, it's yellow. Yes, that's right. You can now set targets on specific bodies. And on the nav bar, as you can see, when I set a target, a prograde marker appears for the targets. That means you can now aim at targets when you set them, which is awesome. This ship actually now has 4 very powerful engines, each producing 5 million newtons of thrust, 20 meganewtons of thrust in total, and it weighs only 15 kilograms. So this ship has an insane amount of thrust for testing purposes, obviously. We are now on the sun-facing side of the Earth, and the moon is in that area somewhere. It's like, it's right over there. Okay. If I fire, boom, they're all firing. Orbital throttle 100%. You can see my orbital velocity is increasing substantially. Yeah, we are going very fast. That's a bug. I know exactly why it happens. I will fix this. Every bug you see in this video, I'm aware of, and I will fix them. So we are now on a very ridiculous trajectory towards the moon, and we are now going straight towards the moon. We are going very fast, by the way. 102,000 meters a second is ridiculous, but it's necessary because it's helpful to be able to go fast when you're testing things. We have entered the moon's sphere of influence. Take note of this. Look at that. What's this? A little warp button. And everything broke. Again, that was another known bug. Don't worry about it. I will fix it. So let's repeat everything we just did. Boom. We have entered the moon's sphere of influence. Now we set our target to retrograde, and then we burn until we get captured by the moon. Simple as that. Boom. All right, we've been captured. So yes, now we've been captured by the moon. There's our glorious moon right there. See how easy that was? Now here's the thing. In Kerbal Space Program, you have something called encounters, where the game will essentially detect whether you will intersect the gravitational sphere of influence of a body on your orbit. So you can see further ahead, like in advance, if you're going to intersect a planet. Now, I haven't implemented that yet because it's a very complex thing to do. You have to do a lot of math, and it's very, very performance hungry. It's very complicated. So I'm holding off on that for now. And instead, I'm going to focus on implementing fixed thrust travel, or what's known as a brachistochrone trajectory, which is essentially where you burn halfway towards a target, and then when you're halfway there, you flip around and then you burn to cancel out that velocity. It's like in the show The Expanse. It's what they do to travel very fast around the solar system using the very, very unfortunately named Epstein drive. I don't know how they came up with that name. All right, our periapsis is currently at 5 kilometers over the moon's surface. Let's see what this looks like if we warp to it. All right, boom. Let's watch as we get very close to the moon's surface, and boom. We're so close to the moon's surface that the camera is clipping through the ground. That will also be fixed. Let's get out of the moon. In fact, we burned so hard we just escaped its sphere of influence instantly, and my label disappeared. Okay, now we are on an escape trajectory from the Earth. Let's warp ahead to when we escape the Earth and enter a solar orbit. We are now in a solar orbit. I'm going to warp to the periapsis. And as you can see, my orbital velocity around the sun is very, very high. This is not ideal because I want to get to Saturn, and Saturn is kind of far away. And if I have a lot of velocity already in this direction, it's going to take a lot more effort to basically burn towards Saturn, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to just cancel out all my velocity by burning retrograde. And now let's find Saturn and burn to Saturn. In fact, we can find Saturn using this very convenient body browser. It's not fully functional yet, but it is good for this. It is good for, you know, doing this kind of stuff. Okay, now we have set Saturn as our target. You can see that its orbit is now yellow. If we go back to the player and we select target prograde, we will now burn in the direction of Saturn, who is over there. Again, the labels are a little glitched. It's okay. This will be fixed. I promise you. So now we just burn. I want to get my velocity up to, let's say, 500,000 meters a second. Another bug. Because of the way that my orbits are calculated, things kind of break down when the orbit becomes hyperbolic, which it is right now. If I don't slow down when I get to Saturn, we will escape the solar system, which is obviously not ideal. So this path is not actually my current path of travel in the solar system. The mesh basically just broke. Let's get to 1 million meters a second. Why not? Some parts of the game are very, very functional right now, like the orbital simulation. As you can see, it's very, very fast. No lag, no nothing. All right, we are now moving very, very quickly. So if I warp time ahead, we will get to Saturn so fast. Let's see. Let's just see what happens if I speed up time. Holy cow, bro, you're so fast. Saturn is right there. I warped ahead like a few days. Actually, not even. We have entered Saturn's sphere of influence. Now we want to slow down. So we have to get rid of this 1 million meters per second of velocity. The way we do that is by burning retrograde. Let's just do that. In fact, let me warp ahead a little bit so that I get captured underneath Saturn so that I can circularize my orbit into a polar orbit. Man, this looks really cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's Saturn right there, right? You can see Saturn. Okay, so we've slowed down enough that the mesh is actually fixed. The path mesh is working. Okay, we're getting very close, very close, very close. And boom. Okay, we have been captured by Saturn. Guys, we have done it. So now we burn retrograde a little bit more just to get very close to the planet so we can actually see the thing. You can double click on things to select them and like to, see them, but because of all these small moons, I can't really target Saturn. So this is my current orbital trajectory around Saturn. We will pass through Saturn's rings. This is perfect. Right now we are currently at the apoapsis. I wonder if we can see Saturn. It's still too far away. And now we will warp to the periapsis. Boom. So this is going to look pretty trippy. Ready? I mean, oh, okay, well, here we are. So the warp functionality warps you to 30 seconds before an event. We are currently orbiting Saturn. As you can see, it's a little dim. This is intentional. In fact, in real life, Saturn's brightness is very, very low because of how far it is from the sun. Holy cow, what a hell of a moment to pause. So yeah, we've reached Saturn with our cool little spaceship. So the orbital part of my game is complete. Now we can start adding some really cool gameplay, all sorts of cool lore, all sorts of cool things. I think it's just so cool. Let's just warp around to our periapsis and circularize the orbit so we can mess around with Saturn a little bit more. So now we're going to see it appear underneath. Yes, there we go. That's kind of terrifying. All right. And we have circularized roughly. Okay, we've circularized. I kind of want to flatten my orbit so that we orbit underneath the rings. I think that would be pretty sick, wouldn't it? Let's go. Oh, boom. That was pretty cool. Oh my god, the rings are actually perpendicular to the sun. Let's warp ahead a few thousand years. Let's warp until the rings are visible. Oh, there we go. They're getting brighter. And we're going to wait until they get maximum brightness. Okay. The rings are about as bright as they'll get. Let's flatten the orbit relative to the ecliptic. To do that, we need to aim normal, then just burn. We want normal to be at the very tip of this nav ball, because that indicates that the normal is perpendicular to the ecliptic. Right, we have a roughly circular orbit now that is parallel to the ecliptic. Roughly, more or less. And I get that the rings may not look as realistic because they are maybe a bit too thin and a bit too close to the planet. That's okay. The appearance of this game will be vastly reworked. My plan is to get a minimum viable product of this game out in a month or so. Look how tiny the sun is from Saturn. It's actually super tiny. From Neptune, the sun is... In fact, let's go to Neptune and see what it looks like. Okay, Neptune is a gray ball. That's a texture error. Another bug I know how to fix. But look, the sun is super tiny from Neptune. And if we go to Planet 9, which is also a gray ball, the sun is little more than another star in the sky. You can't really tell it's the sun. Like, it's just barely visible. That looks so cool, dude. Saturn is a massive planet with a very deep gravity well, so our orbital velocity is going to be way higher. And wow. Stopped it just in time yet again. Come on, dude. Look how cool this looks. This is what makes this game worth it for me. Just seeing this incredible view, and it's going to be improved. This is not even the final version, but like this already looks so cool. It's like you're on a racetrack, a planetary racetrack. And if we warp ahead just a little, you can see it falling behind you. That is just ridiculous, man. And you can see the planet rotating. Yeah, guys, we got to Saturn. I don't know if I talked about the improvements I made. I guess I can give you a quick little list. First improvement, we have this orbital information thing, which displays a lot of your orbital characteristics. I also want to add the ability to change the mode. So for example, I want to show your orbital velocity relative to the sun, then relative to the planet that you're orbiting. Just like in Kerbal Space Program, I think it's a useful thing to know. Then you have the nav ball, the target prograde and target retrograde things have been implemented. Target prograde aims you at your target, so like just directly pointing at it like this, and target retrograde will aim you away from your target. There's this info thing. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Most of the improvements over the past week have been focused on the back end. So for example, I switched from using Keplerian elements to universal variables, which is a much faster and a much more accurate method of calculating orbital positions. It's also a lot more robust. It doesn't have issues with things like rectilinear orbits or very strange orbital shapes, which my old system actually had a lot of bugs related to those things. And universal variables fixed everything in that regard. So, and if I ever need Kepler elements again, I can just convert from universal variables to Kepler elements, perform whatever calculation I need, and then switch back. And yeah, the performance savings have been massive. The game loads in like 0.5 seconds now, as opposed to like the 3 seconds it used to take. I think it's because I added Walter White to the title screen. But yeah, guys, that's basically it. Stay tuned and drop any suggestions. Join the Discord if you want to stay updated on what's going on and you want to just have a good time. Hey guys, future me here. So I just wanted to mention that I created a Ko-Fi if you want to just show some support. It is entirely optional. Just being here and watching this video and interacting means the world to me. So I appreciate that more than you know. And I did want to make one final mention, and I also describe this in more detail in the description of this video. I am not using AI to generate any part of this game. AI is being used purely as a research tool, something that I am using to learn learn new things because it is a very powerful search engine. Ultimately, everything in this game is made by a human. But anyway, that's it, guys. I hope you liked this video. So drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on the game and what you'd like to see in it. And I will respond to every single comment. I promise you that. I will see you guys in the next video. So peace out.